Hi everyone, we're back for another really pretty tutorial. Today's tutorial I want to show you guys how to make this really pretty peacock. Now this is not my design. I found it on Pinterest. I tried every link possible to find the rightful designer of this, but unfortunately I've come to a dead end. So if anybody knows who the designer is of this peacock, please let me know so I can give that person credit for this gorgeous design that they came up with. Now this one here is done in a brick stitch, of course, with fringe hanging down. Really pretty fringe. Simple, easy, take you no time to make this. However, using different beads is going to make it turn out a little bit different. So in this one here, I got the hiccups. I used Miyuki seed beads in 11/0 and in 4 colors. Now you can do this whatever color you want. A peacock is a peacock. Oh my god, I got the hiccups. So sorry. And today I'm going to do it in Delica beads, just so you can see the difference in the Toho or in the Miyuki. You can use Toho, Delica, check, whatever. I'm sorry, I got the hiccups. It's really bad. I used 4 colors and 2 colors of 4mm Swarovski crystals. So I don't know, I just think this is absolutely so pretty. This would make a gorgeous pendant as well. So look at how pretty that is. Isn't that gorgeous? So I'm going to use 4 colors and similar to this, but I want to do it in Delica beads just to see the difference it's going to make. Probably not a whole lot. Okay, so I've got 4 colors here, which I don't have on the tubes the color for some reason. You're going to need another, for here I used a silver bead. In the actual photo she used some kind of gold bead. Don't know. So I'm just using an 11/0. Actually I'm using a union bead in the dangle, and it's going to be for the beak and the eye and the little crown. 2 colors of Swarovski crystals, which I'm using this pink color, and I'm using turquoise. So turquoise and rose. This is light rose. Now for the brick stitch part, I'm going to be using Fireline. I just find Fireline much stronger and stiffer, but for the actual dangle itself, I'll be switching over to Nymo Thread. So you should use Nymo Thread for a dangle, because if you use Fireline, it kinks it and they don't dangle nicely. So I've never used Fireline for any of my dangles. Okay, so make sure you you switch over and use Nymo. And this is Nymo size D, and I do have a wax, the beeswax to wax it with, so it's protected. You will need 2 earring hooks. I'm using silver plated earring hooks there from Beaded. Now the beginning of this is the most pain in the butt kind of thing, is to get it started. But once you get it started, then it's a cinch. Okay, now when you do brick stitch, you read your pattern from right to left, right to left, right to left. That's the way you got to read brick stitch for this particular piece. So let me bring my camera up a wee bit and let's get started. Now I'm going to pick up 2 of my darkest color pink. Again, I'm using Delica beads, and I'm just going to bring those down to the end of my thread. And again, I strung on, I don't know, about 1.5 yards of Fireline. I don't know how much I'm going to need. Okay, and then I'm going to take my needle and I'm going to go right back through the first Delica like this. So if you've never done brick stitch, and I know someone commented on Facebook that they have problems with this. I'm going to try and do this as simple and easy for you guys to follow me, okay? So, go through the first bead that you put on, okay? And now your beads should sit side by side. Like. Sorry about my hands, but I've been working in my garden. And I tried scrubbing them clean, but they're so yucky dried hands. Alright, so we've got 2 beads side by side, like this. Now we're going to make a row of 5 beads across. Okay, but I just want to get away from my tail, so I'm going to you should reinforce this. So this is 6-pound Fireline, and you can go through this and still put your dangles on, because that's where your dangles are going to connect, right in this very first ladder row here. Alright, so I'm going to go back up this way because I want to be opposite from my tail, of course. Alright, so I've got something on there, nail polish probably, matches my beads. Okay, so you're going to pick up one more 11-0 Delica, or whatever bead you're using. You're coming out of this bead here. Let me just make sure we're not going to get out of frame. Let me pull my camera towards me a little bit more because I have a tendency to do that. I don't want to do that. Okay, so you're going to go back through this bead. I'm coming out here. I'm just going to go back through this bead. This is my tail, which I'm going to hold. And I'm just going to add this bead in. Now you have 3 in line. Okay? But you're in the wrong bead. So take your needle and just go back into that bead that you just put on. So now you have that. Okay? Pick up an 11-0. We're just making circles, so now I'm going to go back through this bead here, adding another bead like this, and go back up into that bead like that. Now you have 4 across. Okay, pick up one more, and now you're going to go and to the bead you just put on in a circle ways, like that. Whoops. Okay, we're already on to our first interruption with the phone ringing. Okay, so we've put our last bead on, so now we're going to go down into that bead. Keep your work pulled nice and tight so your ladder roll stays nice and straight. Okay, so now, unfortunately, I'm going to be stuck with my tail up top like that, which sucks. Okay, now we've done our first row, which is 5 beads across. Now it doesn't matter which way, I'm just going to start here. So the first row you need, the next row you're going to need 2 regular pink. You're going to need 2, 4, 6 beads. So we're going to do an increase. Alright, and I'm going to show you how to do an increase on your next row. So we're going to do 2 rows of regular pink, and then we're going to do a light pink. Okay, so to do an increase, you're going to pick up 2 11-0 Delicas. You're going to pick up 2 beads. Now, I don't know if you can see this. Maybe bring my camera up a little bit more so you can see the thread bridge. Okay, there is a thread bridge across each one of these beads where we joined them. Now you're going to take your needle. You've got 2 beads on your needle. You're going to go under the very first thread bridge like this. So it's kind of between the 2 beads, and there is a bridge. Alright, like that. Okay, and then you're going to pull that through, and you're going to sit those 2 beads on top like this. Okay, you can kind of see that it messed up my beads here. which this can happen, but it'll all tighten up in the end. Just keep a good tight tension on your work. Now you've gone through this thread bridge here. Oops. You've gone through the thread bridge here. Now you're going to take your needle and you're going to go from, make sure you don't go under this thread bridge now. You've kind of went around it, so you want to go into this bead right above. Not the first one, the second one. Like this. Go up in it, okay? And now that should place your 2 beads on top, staggered nicely. As you can see, it's hanging over the edge. That's an increase. A decrease will be these little gaps in here. See? There's little gaps. Alright, so now we've put on 2. Now we're going to do one at a time. Pick up 1 Delica. Now you're going to go under the next thread bridge. Oh, why do I have 2 there? I don't know. These first couple of rows are tricky because these beads are so tiny. Alright, so I'm going under that thread bridge, the very next one. Okay, sorry about my gross hands. Don't look at them, just look at my beadwork. Okay, now you're going to sit this bead on top, like that, and now you're going to take your needle and go from the bottom of the bead. Sometimes the needle's going to push the bead up. Hold your thread between your fingers like that, okay, and then go up into the bead, but try not to snag that thread bridge because all you're going to do is pull it right back off. Okay, then give that a little tight snug pull in place like that. Okay, so now you have 3 beads on, and we need to have 6. So the next row, or the next beads, are 3 of this dark pink. So I'm just going to try and get this tail out of my face. So tiny to work with. Now you're going to pick up 1 seed bead. Now you're going to notice you only have 2 thread bridges. You're going to notice that you only have 2 thread bridges left, but you still have 3 beads to put on. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to do that. So you go under the next thread bridge, like this. Okay, pull that through. Now go and put your needle back up from the bottom up into the bead like that, and give it a good pull, and that wrapped right around, so don't do that. I've seen that. And pull tight. Okay, so there's 4 beads. Alright, we still need 2 more, so there's 4. Okay, so now you're going to pick up another 11-0. You're going to go into the very last thread bridge. Well, my tail is in this way here. Okay, go into the last thread bridge like this. See? I probably should put hand cream on, but I don't have any down here. Alright, now put your needle through the bead from the bottom to the top like that. Okay, and give it a good tight pull and place that one there. Now, as you can see, we only have 5 beads. We need 6, so you're going to pick up 1 more 11-0, and you're going to go back through that same thread bridge that you went in for this last bead. So you're just going to share the thread bridge. So I'm just going right back into that same thread bridge like this. Really easy. Give it a good tight pull. Okay. And then you're going to take your needle and go back up through that bead like that. And pull it tight, and your 6th bead is now on. Okay, So you can see you got 5 in this row and 6 in this row. Let me just give this, there we go. Alright, so now we've gotten 2 rows done on here. So we've gone this way, now we've gone this way, so now we're going to work our way back this way. So we're going to need 1, so I'm just going to flip this over that way because I'm right-handed and I have to work from right to left. Alright, so in this row here, it's still an increase row, so we're going to pick up, well, you know what, I'm going to pull up my pattern because it's a lot easier to see it than this. So let me just pull it up onto my laptop. Or not my laptop, my, I don't know, do I have Pinterest on here? I can't remember. I thought I did. Oops. I have Google. So let's go to Beaded. Type in, let me back off a little so you guys can see what I'm doing to find this pattern, okay? So I'm just going to type in Beaded Peacock earring, and found one. Alright, so these look like, this looks like the one I made. So I'll follow this image here. So I'm just going to bring this up because it's going to be easier for me to count. I don't know why. Excuse me. There is also a pattern somewhere I've seen on Pinterest, but it's in Russian, so I couldn't understand it at all. Alright, so I'm just going to follow this. Okay, now my next row here, I have such bad allergies and it's really bad. I've been working outside. This next row, so we've done here, is 1 dark, 1 light, 3 dark. Oh my gosh. Alright. So, in this next row here, you're going to pick up 1 dark pink and 1 light pink. So 2 colors. You're going to go into the very first thread bridge, picking up 2 because we need to do an increase. Pull that through and set them on top. Now take your needle and go back up through the first, or this second bead, like that, and then pull your thread through and snug that up. Okay, now we need to do 3 dark pink, so I'm going to pick up 1 pink, going to go into the very next thread bridge like that, and then go back up into your bead, making sure you don't snag that thread bridge again because I've done that and just pulled the bead right off. Okay, so there's 1, we need 3 of these, so I'm going into the next thread bridge like that. It'll get a little bit easier to hold once we get a little bit done on it. See, that's what I mean. You have to really hold your thread tight to go back up that bead. Okay. And we need another pink one, dark one, going into the next. So we have 3 more beads to put on, but 2 more thread bridges. So you know what that means. You've got to put 2 in that one thread bridge. Okay, and then you're going to go up into that bead. Like that. And snug it up. Okay, now our next color is the light pink, so we're going to pick up one light pink. We're going to go under the very next thread bridge, which is the last thread bridge, and we're going to share that with 2 beads. Okay, and go back up like that. So many people ask me to do a tutorial because they really want to make these, so I hope this helps you guys. Again, it's not my design, but I love it. Alright, so pick up your last bead, which is the dark pink, and you're going to go through the last thread bridge, sharing it with the other bead, and then go put your needle back up through. This is really not easy to, I'm just going to flip it around and hold it this way and go back up like that. Alright, so now you've got 3 rows done. So tiny. This is so intricate to work with. I don't know if you can see in the camera the different color pinks, but there is different color pink in there. Alright, so we've done row 1, row 2, and row 3. And we've done this way, now this way. Now we're going to work back this way. Right? So where are these 3 pinks? So let's see here. Alright. So we've done that way, this way, and now we're going to go into this next row. Now the next row is again an increase row. So the first beads we're going to do is 3 of the dark pink. So again, you're going to pick up 2 to start with. You're going to go under this thread bridge, very first one. Keep your work pulled tight. Okay. There you have your 2 beads. Now you're going to go back up into the second bead, like that. And pull that, snug it up. Okay, so you have 2 on. Now when I was making it with the Miyuki seed beads here, it was kind of curling this way. My work was curling with, like it was going rounded. It eventually straightens out as you keep on going, but it was starting to round around here. So as with the Delicas, you can see it's not doing that. It's staying straight, line for line. Alright, so we have to pick up another dark pink, go underneath the next thread bridge, like that, and give it a good tight pull, and back up through the bead, like that. Okay. I did say I wanted to do it with the diagram. It's just because these round beads are a little bit more complicated to see, and I just keep getting alright, I went this way, so we're on to 3. Now I need a dark one, or I mean a light one, a dark one, a light one, and 2 dark. So we need to pick up a light one, next thread bridge, like that. Oopsies, snagged. Place it in there, and then go back up it. As you can see, I snagged the thread bridge. There we go. Alright, now we need a dark one. It'll be so much better when I have something to hold on to. First few rows is tricky. Alright, I went underneath the next thread bridge and I put on a dark one. Okay, and now we need a light one. I have 3 beads left to put on, but only 2 thread bridges left. So go under the first one here, or your very next one. Bring your needle back up into that bead, like that. Whoopsies. And give it a good tight pull. Alright, so now we're at the end here where we need to put on 2 more dark pink. So I'm going to pick up 1 more under the thread bridge, like that. Back up to the pink, or back up through the bead, back up through the pink. Okay, they're both pink. And 1 more. And you're going to share that thread bridge by going back under, going through that very last one again. Very easy. So this is how you're decreasing. Or decreasing. This is how you're doing increases. Increasing where it needs to be increased. Sometimes you have to increase only at the beginning. Sometimes you have to increase just at the end of your row. So that's why you got to be very careful when you're making this, because it decreases all kinds of places and increases. So that's why I'm going to take you step by step so you can finish one entire piece and make yourself earrings, necklace, you know, whatever. I mean, that would be a gorgeous necklace. I love it. Alright, so now we've done 1, 2, 3, 4 rows. Alright, we finished here. Now we're going to go back this way, so we need to put on 3 pink, dark pink, 1 light. So there's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 beads. So we're increasing on both sides. Okay, so I'm turning this around because, like I said, I'm right-handed. Alright, so we're going to pick up 2 of the dark pink. We're going to go under the thread bridge in the first one there with 2 beads because we're increasing again. And go back up into the second bead like this. Don't go in that first one, the second one. And snug it up. We need another dark bead. Go underneath the thread bridge. Whoops, don't snag onto my camera. Okay, there we go. And now back up through that bead you put on. And pull it nice and tight. Alright, so we've done 1, 2, 3. We need 1 light one. Go underneath the next thread bridge. Back up. And then we need sec. Okay, so we need 2 dark pinks going through the next thread bridge. 1, 2, 'Come on, don't give me a hard time. Alright, and pull that on top. Pull it nice and tight, and always pull that way. Now you need a light one, because we done 2. We need a light one, and then we need 2 more dark ones. So we need 3 beads, 2 thread bridges left. So here's a light one going on. Okay. And now you need 2 dark ones. So you can use whatever color you want. You don't have to use my colors. All right. Okay, one more. Again, you're going to share the thread bridge. Like this. Okay, and then I'm just going to flip my work around, hold that thread down, and go back up into that bead. And now I'm in position to start my next row. Okay, so now you've completed 5 rows. And you can see it's staying nice and straight. It's not, it was curving. You'll notice if you make it with round beads that it does curve way more than this. Okay. Alright, so we just finished our 5th row. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Our next row, which I'm having a really hard time seeing on here because these are all on slants. Alright, I'm not going to use that anymore. I'm going to go back to my Peacock. Alright. So this row here is my 5th row. So alright, so alright, the next row is going to be 1 dark and 1 light. So let's pick up a dark. Alright. Now, 1 dark and 1 light. You need to pick up 2 because it is an increase row. Oh, come on. Why are you doing this? Alright, I need to stand this up. I don't know how to do it because I am cuckoo. Oh, I see. Give kids toys. There we go. Now, whoops. So it just fell over. Alright. Okay. I dropped my beads. So I've picked up a dark one and a light one on my needle, and I'm going to go into the first thread bridge like this, okay, and go back up into the second bead, and then you're going to put on 3 dark pinks, one at a time. Hope you guys aren't having trouble seeing this. Alright, so there's 1, 2, probably gonna have to go get my cord for my camera. 2 and 3. Okay. Back up. So I'm going in every single thread bridge. Alright, so now we're going to put on 1 light, 1 dark, 1 light. So let's do 1 light. One dark, one dark, and 1 light. Okay, and then our final 2 beads are going to be dark ones. Okay. And 2 dark ones. So I'm into my last thread bridge. One. And into the last thread bridge again, because you share it with the second to last bead. Okay, alright, so I'm flipping it over and I'm just going to put my needle up into it. Alright, so now we're going to be reading the pattern. This is the way it should be sitting. So now I need to read it from this side across. Alright. So now I need to put on 3 darks and 3 lights. So let's put on 3 darks and 3 lights. Again, it's an increased row. So 3 darks. Oops, I was going to pick up 3, but no, you pick up 2 for your first stitch. Okay, like that. And then go back up into the second bead, like that. And give it a snuggy tight pull. Alright, pick up another dark bead. Okay, up into the bead. Alright, now we need 3 light colors. Going into the very next thread bridge, 1 bead at a time. Pretty soon you're going to see where it starts getting its shape, where we're going to be going and decreasing. There's 2 and a third one. Make sure you snag just the bead. Alright. Alright, so we've got 3 done. We need 2 dark. Going in the next thread bridge and then back up through the bead, the bottom up, and sit it on top. Okay, next one is a dark one. So we have 3 thread bridges left. Back up like that. Alright, so we put on 2, so we need 1 light and 2 darks. So you can see I only have 2 thread bridges left, which works out right. So we need 1 light, one light, and your final 2 darks. Oops. Back up through the bead. And be very careful if you're having a tricky time going back up. You don't flip the bead over and go into it the wrong way, because you will notice that something's wrong. One last one, sharing that thread bridge, putting on my last bead. Okay, and then up into this bead again, like that. Okay. Alright, you've completed successfully another row. Alright, so now we're going to be doing a decrease, but on the end of the row. So first off, you want to put on a dark and a light. Pick up your first 2 beads, and you're going to go under your thread thread bridge. Yeah, Ruby, why don't you just jab yourself with a needle, and then back up your second bead. Okay, and you're going to put on 3 darks, so let's do 3 dark pinks. Back up. Three darks. Back up. Three darks. That's the third one. Alright. So now we need 3 lights. So I'm just going to put these here. So we're going to pick up 3 light pinks. Go back up to the bead like that. And our third one. Now, for the decrease, all that we have left now is to put on our last 3 dark pink ones. And as you can see, in a sec here I'll show you, there's 3 thread bridges left. There's 1, 2, and 3. So we have 3 thread bridges left. So now we're going to put on our last 3 dark pinks. So you're going to pick up 1 dark pink, go under the next thread bridge, and just put them on like you would normally. Oh, it looks like my battery is going to die, so I'm going to stop right here and I'm going to go get my cord to plug it in. And continue to put your last 3 on, and you're going to have a gap. So that's where it's decreasing, but I'll show you if you don't understand. This is especially hard for beginners who've never done brick stitch to understand and comprehend the technique of decrease and increasing. So I'm trying to show you it all in one video. Alright, so I'm taking my time. You guys should be able to follow step by step. So I'm going to go get my cord and I'll be back. Okay, my camera is good to go. Now, picking up my last 2 here, like this, going under the thread bridge, up into the last bead I put on, from the bottom up. That's very, very important that you go from the bottom up so your bead sits nice and flat. Now for our last bead into the last thread bridge, like so. Okay. Now you're going to see you have decreased because we're not going to put another bead in here to share that thread bridge. So there is a decrease already. Okay. See how that is? It's decreased, but it goes this way. Okay, so now we're going to read our pattern from left to right. Now this one, you're going to increase on this side again. So let me get some more beads over here. It's just a little easier for me to work with. Now you're going to pick up 2 more beads because now we need to increase it. So go under the thread bridge. Keep that tight. Okay, and then go back up into your second bead. And these are 2 dark pinks. Okay, so there's 2 on there. Now we need a light pink. Go under the next thread bridge, like so. And back up. Like that. Okay. Now we need, is that one dark one. And I'm just following the picture on the internet. That's all I'm doing. And she used Delica beads in this particular design, or whoever made this peacock. Okay, so there's 1 dark one. Now we need 3 light ones, so we're going to pick up 3 light ones, go through there. Okay, and up through it, and 1 more light pink. Like that. Okay, and now you need 1 dark, 1 light, and 3 dark. So we need one dark, back up. Oops. I really like working with the Delicas better than the round ones because they stay nice and even. They don't round off on you, so your rows stay nicely staggered and they're all lined up. And if you use the round beads, the Miyuki or Toho, you're going to see what I'm talking about. So we need one dark, one light, and then 3 darks. Oops, my tail's in the way here. Okay, 3 darks. 3 darks, as you can see, this is an increased row on both ends. Oh, shoot. Come here, needle. Where are you? You're getting tangled up. Don't like that. Okay. Let me see if I tangled it. Nope. Good. Okay, and then back up. Alright, to cut this video a little shorter, I'm going to go put the last 2 beads on and come back. So make sure you share that last thread bridge putting on 2 beads. Okay. I don't know if you can see it in the camera. My, excuse me, my light pink's in there. I hope you can see that. Alright, so now our next row is from right to left, meaning now we have to put on 4 darks and 5 lights and 2 darks, but we're decreasing on this side. Okay, we're going to decrease on this side. We decreased on this side here, now we're decreasing here. So for starters, you're only going to pick up 1 bead. Don't pick up 2. And then go under your first thread bridge, adding only 1 bead. And then back up through that same bead. Okay, so it looks like that, only adding 1 this time. So now you have a decrease. Pick up another one, so you're going to need to put on 4. So now you're going to carry on going in each thread bridge, putting on 4, and I'll come back and show you. Okay, so I've gotten my 4 on here. Our next one is we need to add 5 of the light pink across here. So go ahead and add 5 light pink and then 2 dark pink, and again you're going to decrease on this end as well. So you're decreasing on both sides of this row. So you won't be sharing this last thread bridge, you'll just put your last bead in there and that will be end of that row. So go ahead and put on 5 light pinks. So you should have enough to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 2 dark pinks. And then I'll come back. Okay, so as you can see, clearly, you decreased on this side. Whoops, you decreased on this side here, and you decreased over here. So this is a complete row with decreasing in it. Now, our next row, we're going to work from left to right again. And this time we're going to decrease again and increase at the end here. So for the first one you need 2 greens, or 2 greens, 2 dark pinks, so you need 1 at a time because this is the side where we got to decrease. Okay, I'm just flipping it over because again I'm right-handed, but we're working, this is the way our piece should be. This is what yours should look like. Alright, now you're going to pick up 1 bead, go into the first thread bridge, alright, and back up that bead, So you need one dark pink, or two dark pinks, sorry. So I'm picking up my second one and going through my second thread bridge. Okay, and then back up the bead. Alright, now this here requires us to put on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more light pinks. So I'm going to go add 5 more light pinks and I'll come back to you. So 1 bead per thread bridge. I'll be back. Okay, so now I've put on my 5 light pinks. Now I need to put on 2 dark pinks. So I'm going to pick up 1, going into the next thread bridge. There's 1 dark. And into my second one. Okay, now the last 2 you have to share 1 thread bridge with, and that's going to be in the turquoise. So according to the pattern, it's 2 turquoise there. So one turquoise at a time. Pull that through. Now you're going to go back up and oops, pick up. Come back here, you. Alright, so now you're going to increase by adding 1 more bead to that same thread bridge. Okay? So we're sharing the last one here. Okay, and go back up the bead. And pull tight. Alright, now you've accomplished this. So now we're working right to left, okay? We've got our 2 turquoise in here. So now it'll be really easy for you to follow. Alright, our next row we need to add 3 turquoise, but we are doing a decrease at the beginning and a decrease at the end as well. Yep, and a decrease at the end. So we're going to start off with 1 bead on this row. And we need 3 of the turquoise. Okay, so only 1 bead. And back up it. Okay. So go put 2 more on. I'll be right back when that. Okay, so I got the 3 done. So now after you put on your 3, you're going to pick up a dark pink into the next thread bridge and back up, and you're going to put on 1, 2, 3, 4 light pink. So I'm going to get 4 of my light pink and put on 4 light pink, and I'm going to come back when I got that done. Okay, got my 4 light pinks on. Now you're going to put on 2 turquoise. You have 2 thread bridges left, which means now you're decreasing because you only have 2 beads left to put on. Oopsies, that turned upward. There we go. 1 and 2. Alright, so now we're going to work from left to right. I keep touching the screen on my iPad because it goes dark and then it's going to shut off. Not shut off, but I'd have to keep opening it. Alright, there you go. Decreased here and you decreased here. Now our next row is a decrease as well from left to right, but it's an increase on the end. Okay, So the first color you're going to pick up is a dark pink, and you're going to put that in here in your first thread bridge. Okay, so it's a dark pink one. And then you're going to put on 4 light pinks. Now that's the last time you're going to put on light pinks. So I'm going to go off camera and do the last 4 light pinks that I'll be using. And then you'll just be using them in the dangle.